Hi Bookies! Today I'm here with my emotional support dinosaur and we're gonna talk about one of my special interests today. That is Dinoland USA, the rise, the fall, the extinction. I'm really sad. Before we can really get into Dinoland USA lore, we have to kind of get into the animal kingdom lore of it all first. So we're gonna jump right into this video. If you're at all familiar with Disney's Animal Kingdom, the park is basically like, it's focused on animals. So Animal Kingdom was gonna be like a place you could see real life animals, you could experience animals from the past, aka dinosaurs, and you could also see animals that are from the imagination. Like they were gonna have a whole land called Beastly Kingdoms of dragons, unicorns, all that sort of thing. So the original plan for Animal Kingdom was super duper ambitious. They ended up running out of money. The original plan for Dinoland, I believe, it's a little hard to like find information on this, but I think it was supposed to be a little more like educational. Obviously, we got the implementation of Dinoland USA, but I do believe that the original land for the park was supposed to have like more dark rides, more like education focused. However, due to budget cuts and the approaching opening day of the park coming closer and closer, they weren't done. They had to put something up fast. So what they did was they decided to come up with an idea for like a roadside attraction, which brings us into the lore of Hester and Chester and Dinorama. So Hester and Chester, within Dinoland like canon, they are two gas station owners, and they own this cute little gas station, and it's supposed to be in like the small like little Floridian town, and it's discovered that there's all of these bones of a T-Rex in this like huge like boneyard, which later becomes the boneyard in the actual Animal Kingdom park. And once this discovery is made, all these paleontologists come and gather around and they make the Dino Institute, which is home to like the best ride ever, Dinosaur. We'll get into that. So the Dino Institute is born, and Hester and Chester are like, how can we make money off this? So they convert their gas station into a roadside attraction and gift shop. And the gift shop in Dinoland, if you remember, was so cute, and you could see like the gas station pumps outside of the gift shop, which was a super cute detail. And the gift shop was just full of like these little trinkets and all of these like little things you can look at. There was a train that went over the roof of the store. There's so many Easter eggs in there. It's like almost impossible to find them all. I'm sure people have. Like towards the closing, I was at Dinoland, I think like 2 days before it officially closed. So I was trying to get all the pictures I could, like find all the hidden Easter eggs I could. I found a couple just like references to the Dino Institute throughout the park, which was really cute. So Dinoland USA consists of a couple major talking points. We've got the best ride ever, the dinosaur, or just dinosaur. I don't think it's the dinosaur. I sound like my parents. Like it's not Facebook, it's the Facebook. We have the carnival game alley, as well as the Cementosaurus, which is like kind of the landmark of Dinoland USA. We have all the little like food places, all the eateries around there. We have the Triceratops spin. And then most infamously known, we have the Primeval Whirl. So Primeval Whirl has all of its own lore, basically. Primeval Whirl was this wild mouse coaster. It was very like loosely themed to fit Dinoland USA, if that makes sense. Like it definitely had the vibe of like, this is a carnival ride. It's very like thrown together. The theming is not nearly as good as the actual dinosaur ride. This coaster was supposed to be seen as a family coaster. It was supposed to be seen as not too intense. It was a wild ride, not a thrill ride. However, pretty much every single person except me and my family hates this ride. My dad literally hated this ride, and my grandparents were terrified of this ride. They had one time where they rode it. I guess we weren't there. They were just telling us the story. The lap bars wouldn't come up, so the cast member was like joking with them. I was like, oh, you guys get to go again. And they apparently started crashing out. They were like, no, get us off, get us off. They were traumatized by that ride. My grandmother still brings this up like at Thanksgiving every year to this day. The ride was even given the nickname the Primeval Hurl because people would throw up after riding the ride. It is very jerky from what I remember, but like I was a kid, like my bones were like jello, you know, like I had fun, I didn't care, but it spun you around a lot. It is very sad to say that 2 cast members unfortunately lost their lives while operating this attraction. Both suffered head-related injuries. One was in the year of 2007, another was in the year of 2011. The attraction officially closed in 2019. We're not really sure why. There's a couple theories, just like due to maintenance. I don't know how verifiable this is. I saw this on Reddit, but apparently the manufacturer for the ride went out of business, so the cost of maintenance, like to get the parts to fix the ride, was way too expensive because like these parts weren't being made anymore, and to get a hold of them it was an insane amount. It was like worth more than the ride was. So Disney just decided to quietly kind of close down the ride in 2019. They said they would reopen it after COVID. They never did. By 2021, the ride was demolished, and there was just this empty like pit of land that was kind of hidden in the very back of Dinoland USA. So you could still see that towards like the end of Dinoland USA. I know when I went with my boyfriend for the first time, he was like, "What's over there?" And I'm like, "That's where the Primeval World used to be." And now there's just nothing. So, all right, so now I want to talk about the actual greatest ride Disney's possibly ever made. That might be a controversial take. I honestly think it's just like the perfect dark ride. Dinosaur originally was by the name of Countdown to Extinction when the park opened. I never rode it when it was Countdown to Extinction. I've heard that not much changed when the switch was made over to Dinosaur. The ride was rethemed to Dinosaur when Disney was going to release their movie called Dinosaur as well. And I've never seen the Dinosaur movie, but from what I understand, the ride is widely more successful than the movie itself ever was. The ride seems to be a little more of like a recognizable, like when you think of Dinosaur, like, oh, the Disney ride. I believe that the movie is what gave birth to the iconic pre-show. If you've ever ridden the ride, oh my gosh, it's the best ride pre-show ever. I can quote parts of it. It's really embarrassing, but it's really fun. It's just like, it's super cute and I love it so much. And the acting is great in it. It's so funny. It sets up the ride perfectly. This really is like the perfect dark ride. The plot of the ride is you visit the Dino Institute. You're kind of on like a field trip, or you're just visiting the institution, and you're going to be sent back in time to go see the dinosaurs. However, one of the lab technicians really wants you to get the iguanodon. We got the iguanodon right here, but he really wants you to go back in time to get the iguanodon, but that's going to put you close, like way too close to the meteor shower. So the head scientist like kind of tries to override it. She's like, "Nope, the coordinates are locked. See, access denied." So then the lab technician overrides it. He's like, "We're in. Now go load into the vehicles. We're gonna go get that dino." So you get into these little buggies, and I think the ride seats up to about like 16 people. There's 4 per row, 4 rows. The ride for this one too, I understand, like for a lot of people, is a little jerky. It's a little like, you could definitely get motion sick on this. The ride is very dark. I'm honestly so surprised. I loved this ride so much as a kid because I genuinely think it's such a weird phenomenon. Like I should have been terrified of this ride, but I loved it as a kid. And I think it kind of like funneled my like fascination of dinosaurs into like, it was like the pipeline. Like I got obsessed with this ride, then I got obsessed with dinosaurs, so, you know. Ever since the ride opened, unfortunately, a lot of the animatronics have gone into B mode. If you don't know what B mode is, A mode is when, from my understanding, when the ride, like the animatronics in the ride work perfectly fine, they're functional as they should be. A lot of the animatronics in the dinosaur ride have stopped working, and since they have announced, sadly, its closure to be replaced with an Indiana Jones attraction, I will discuss how I feel about that by the end of this video. A lot of the dinosaurs stand completely frozen, and it's a little terrifying. If you ride it as many times as I have, you start to notice some of the dinosaurs that are just frozen in the dark, just staring at you. And it's kind of creepy, but I kind of love it for that. So it's kind of like a fun little game. You can see how many like dinosaurs you can spot, and then how many dinosaurs hiding in the dark you can spot. This ride is just overall amazing. It really is like a thrilling ride, and it's Like, the finale scene is great, it's amazing. Even the animatronics I still think hold up pretty well from like being an opening day attraction in the 90s, I believe. Like, everything holds up. It's a great story. It's a super fun ride. I'm so sad they're closing it. It probably is. It's at least my favorite ride at Animal Kingdom. In my top 5, we'll say that, so I don't be controversial here, but it's in my top 5 favorite Disney rides of all time. As I had mentioned before, I was there for Dinoland's some of their final days. Dinoland, by the end of its existence, before its unfortunate extinction, I do regret to say it is a shell of its former self. With Primeval Whirl gone, there's, you know, a huge empty spot in the very back of the park. A lot of the carnival games, it's very hit or miss when you go. Like, sometimes there would be a lot of people there, you could win amazing prizes. We won this little guy. Towards the end of its existence, they had a lot of exclusive prizes at these carnival games. They had this iguanodon from the actual dinosaur ride. They also had the Cementosaurus with Dinorama written on its side. We did not win the Cementosaurus, but we did win Iggy the iguanodon right here. I guess we'll drop. We played these carnival games so many times. They were $6 a play. There is a winner every single time you play them, but we knew we were not leaving without a Dinoland plushie. Mr. Man right here cost us $70. It's officially the most expensive plushie in my collection, but we love him very much, so. The Triceratops spin was still operational. We were able to ride that one last time. It's a great ride too. It really is just the Dumbo ride at Disney's Magic Kingdom, but it's Triceratops themed, so in my personal opinion, it's better. It's very cute. As of today, as I'm recording this video, what remains of Dinoland, Dinoland has been closing out in phases. I suppose starting with Primeval Whirl, and now the Dinorama section of the park is completely demolished. I am very fortunate, I guess is the word. I was not there when the Cementosaurus was removed, or else I probably would have cried. I was already very emotional when I was walking around and saw the walls around Dinorama. And they were very sick to put a sign in front of it too that said change is good. And I was like, you just lost an annual pass holder. No, I'm whatever. This might be my hot take, but I think the closure of Dinoland USA is a signal of Disney losing some of its former whimsy. It seems like right now at the Disney parks, things just aren't allowed to be like whimsical anymore. Dinoland was never perfect. It was always like a rushed out version of what the management originally wanted the park to be. However, it was a really enjoyable experience. It was very cute, it was very well themed, and I don't think they should have closed it. I think after Primeval Whirl was demolished, they should have put something else there. All it needed, seriously, was a little tender love and care. It really did. Dinoland could have still been standing today and people still would have gone, because a lot of the shift I see too is, and I can say I'm a self-proclaimed Disney adult, a lot of the Disney decisions lately feel like they've been pandering more towards the adults. And I remember as a kid, I grew up really loving that land, so that bleeds into my nostalgia now as an adult for it. But there's really not a lot of areas for kids to just run around and play. Like, that's something I've really noticed for Disney parks especially. There's not really any areas just to let kids run around and play and be kids. That's kind of the purpose that the Boneyard serves, and as of me making this video today, the Boneyard is still standing. That will be closed, I believe, in the next phase of the Dinoland USA closure. But once that's gone, that's kind of it. There's still the petting zoo, of course, but I really wish Disney would bring back some of its former whimsy. I know that's a word I'm throwing around, but like, I don't know, just with the announcement of Muppet Vision also closing, it's like, where are just like the silly little things for, you know, children and mentally ill adults to enjoy, you know? Like, it really is kind of a sad thing to me that we're seeing this land closed down that's been here, opened with the park, but is now, you know, gone extinct. As of today too, a lot of the food places are still open. I've personally never been to any of the food places, but those are all still open. Dinosaur, I believe, is going to remain open through the year. I don't think they've put out an official close date for it yet. And once Dinoland is fully extinct, Disney has already announced their next replacement for it is going to be the Tropical Americas themed land. And does this align with the original idea of the park for representing animals that exist, animals from the past, and animals that exist only in our imagination? It does. Like, honestly, if you really think about it, it fits. It really does. Like, we already have Asia, we already have Africa. It would definitely fit in with the rest of the park. However, the ride choices I am a slight bit hesitant about. It is confirmed that Indiana Jones and Encanto are the two franchises that are going to be taking over Dinoland. From what I understand as well, the dinosaur ride is going to be the Indiana Jones ride once the retheme is done. This ride has already gotten its track layout from Indiana Jones, the ride in California, so it makes sense. I understand where they're coming from. This might just be a personal problem of mine, or a personal like issue for me, where like I really do like organization in parks. I am definitely not at all opposed to like Indiana Jones or Encanto being in any of the parks. I would love an Encanto attraction so much. I love that movie. I just feel like they're putting them in the wrong park, which granted, Animal Kingdom already doesn't have like a whole lot of attractions. That's also a weird thing too, that I think that they're closing down Dinosaur at least by the end of the year, and there's gonna be what, like 4 rides? But with Indiana Jones, you already have the Stunt Spectacular in Disney's Hollywood Studios. I just, in my mind, wouldn't it make more sense to put it there because it's an action movie? And it would be kind of cool if it was like, I don't know, y'all may hate me for this one, but like a tram style tour through Indiana Jones. Like the buggy would be like a tram, and like this is how we made the movie of Indiana Jones, like for the original idea of Hollywood Studios, because I know Hollywood Studios has become like its own melting pot of like movie franchises now, and it was originally supposed to be a park about like making movies. So if you really wanted to have the like original idea of Hollywood Studios in that ride, or just copy and paste the the Indiana Jones ride from California to Hollywood Studios, like they did with like the Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. I believe that one was from France, but don't quote me on that. Same thing with Encanto. I love Encanto in theory. I just think this might be the wrong park for it. I get that there's the character that can talk to animals. However, I feel like that is like just a little bit of a stretch, which again, if Encanto's a stretch, is Avatar a stretch? I've talked about this with my boyfriend a lot. I think Avatar does work because banshees are fictional creatures. So creatures that only exist in the imagination, it is kind of filling that like Beastly Kingdom's void. I mean, I would love to be proven wrong. If I am proven wrong and there's a banger Encanto attraction at Animal Kingdom in a couple years, I will bite all my words. I will be so happy. I just, for an idea I'm not really sure about, to be taking over like a very solid idea that I absolutely love and adored, and I know it does have kind of like a cult following. There's people who hated it, but there's also people who love it. So I don't know. I just think like Dinoland made sense with Animal Kingdom's original idea in mind. And I really think if they had just tried to refurbish it, if they had given it any sort of tender loving care, if they hadn't just let it like fall into maintenance issues, fall to the ground, it really could have been like a cemented part of the park that was there to stay forever. But I mean, if you looked at it in its final days, you did know like eventually that would be the first thing. If they were going to replace anything at Animal Kingdom, that was going to be the first thing they would replace. That just goes to say too, for when Muppets inevitably gets replaced by Monsters Inc., that Monsters Inc. at least kind of makes sense as a land. Again, it's another like copy and pasting a like franchise into, that's a movie, into the movie theme park. But at least like it feels like a more solid idea. I'm very curious to see how they're going to blend Indiana Jones and Encanto. I really wish at the very minimum they would have just kept the dinosaur ride. Like, maybe forget about Indiana Jones. Sorry guys, sorry. Just maybe forget about Indiana Jones. If they wanted to get rid of Dinorama, fine, but like maybe then that could be like the Encanto area and just leave dinosaur there and it's just its own thing. Because like I fear more and more all of the theme parks are going to become more hodgepodgey and less like themed, but also still like, because we have Star Wars Land, we have Avatar Land, they're both heavily themed lands, but they all exist within like theme parks that I feel had original goals. But anyway, at the end of the day, we got Iggy the Iguanodon. I'm gonna miss Dinoland. I'm very sad about it. If you want to cry with me in the comments, please do. I love talking about theme parks. I love talking about like random lore, that my special interests, you know, all of that. I love talking about movies. I'm a film major. I have a couple short films out right now. They're at Hot Pink Media Productions. I might post them here. I might just tag my other account in here. We'll see. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Depop. BlytheDoesStuff is the same for my Instagram. blythescloset for my Depop. That's the best way you can support me. I would appreciate it. That was... Okay, there we go. And I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Mwah.